Hello, Marty DeGrama here. Welcome to my channel, Crypto Data and News. I share the crypto news of the day. If you enjoy what you're seeing, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Enjoy the video.
Bitcoin is currently trading just a little over $7,000, $7,026. If we give CoinMarketCap a little refresh here, we're going to see it's trading around 7,032 on the composite that CoinMarketCap produces, and it's up about 4.5% over the last 24 hours. Definitely some green that we've been wanting to see in the Bitcoin market. If we check the altcoins here, we can see Dash is doing extremely well, up 27%. Guys, I remember when Dash was, I think it was the fifth four-digit cryptocurrency when it passed $1,000 back in 2017. A lot of these altcoin prices are very, very low compared to where they used to be, guys. Pretty much every single altcoin here is on a massive discount, guys. If you're buying altcoins for the long term, you don't really need to be worrying about the short-term technical analysis that we're doing right here. Just about every altcoin, if you believe in it for the next couple of years, is a very good buy right here. Even up 27%, Dash is still a very, very, very low price compared to where I've seen it before. But as we can see, many of the altcoins are doing very well. I can't even count this on camera. We probably have about 20 double-digit green. We probably have 20 double-digit gainers here on the altcoin market. We have a lot of green coming out of the altcoins and not very much red coming out of the altcoins. We see 5 red altcoins, not including the 2 stablecoins, TrueUSD and Tether. The rest of the cryptocurrency market and the altcoin market is doing quite well following Bitcoin. And as we can see, a lot of the altcoins are doing pretty well comparative to Bitcoin. They're up even more than Bitcoin. And that's something that I like to point out when we see this happen, is that normally the altcoins will correlate with Bitcoin, especially when Bitcoin is making big moves like it has over the last 24 hours. Normally the altcoins will correlate with Bitcoin. And when they do, normally they move even farther than Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins might go down 1.5 times as far as Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin goes up, they might go up 1.5 times as far as Bitcoin does. And that's simply because the altcoins tend to be more volatile than Bitcoin, because they haven't been stabilized by so many institutions and by so many trading pairs, etc. Typically the altcoins are a bit more volatile, and there's a lot of different reasons for that we're not going to be getting into in today's video. But anyway, volume is on Bitcoin is one thing that we wanted to talk about also, because Bitcoin's daily volume is doing much, much better than it was in yesterday's video. Well, yes, in yesterday's video, I believe it was hovering around $3.2 billion in yesterday's video. Go click the button up here in the top right. Go check that video and tell me if my memory serves me correctly in the comments of that video. I believe it was $3.2 billion. But nevertheless, right now we're seeing about $4.5 billion in trading volume on Bitcoin. And a lot of that does come from this breakout that we've seen here on the hourly chart. We've seen 2 big green candlesticks followed by volume to confirm them as breakouts. We can see the green candlestick and volume right down here to confirm them. The same is true over here with volume right there. So Bitcoin has confirmed these breakouts. It has volume. It's gotten above several important levels of resistance, and that has helped lend itself to the increased volume. I believe that's just about everything we want to talk about. Bitcoin's daily volume is hovering around 53%. I believe that was 53.7% in yesterday's video. Like I said, click the eye up there and go check yesterday's video to see if I was correct on that. I think my memory serves me correct. And total market capitalization is hovering just under $230 billion. I would like to see total market capitalization get back up above $250 billion, because that is a level that we've seen be very important for the Bitcoin market in the past. We've seen Bitcoin pull back to around $250 billion several times. Back over here in early April, we pulled back to 250, and back over here in late June, we pulled back to 250. And now on this pullback, we pulled back to around 190, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also something that we don't really want to see Bitcoin do again. And we would like, to see Bitcoin get back up above these levels, up closer to 250 or even higher, of course, because that means the cryptocurrencies are going to go up in valuation. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to the technical analysis portion of today's video. The first thing that we have to talk about, let's turn these moving averages off for a second. Those will be important in a second. The first thing that we have to talk about is this downtrend. I talked about it briefly in the intro, but I want to talk about it again because this is one of the most important levels in technical analysis on Bitcoin. And I don't say that lightly. This is one of the most important support and resistance levels in all of Bitcoin technical analysis, at least for the time being. Of course, support and resistance levels change and their importance changes at the time being. And especially if you were to ask me 48 hours ago, it was one of the most important levels in technical analysis. I talked about how important it was for Bitcoin to get above this level in the video that you can watch up here in the top right. This is an extremely, extremely important level for Bitcoin to have broken, and we have broken it. You can see Bitcoin kind of got up here a little bit above it, but one thing you have to remember with really, really long-term trend lines, not just horizontal levels, and well, also with horizontal levels, is that often they're not single lines, they're more like areas. So this downtrend was more like an area of resistance like that. So it's not really all that easy to just get a break the second you break through this, because people have this drawn different ways on their chart. But the fact that we did get a little break up here does signify to me that maybe a lot of people were drawing their trend line through here. We broke up above it, got support, and then went on the rally. That's what it looks like to me, but nevertheless, we have broken this level of resistance. And guys, this was something that I was expecting to happen because it's not unprecedented. Bitcoin has broken this level of resistance in the past. We saw over here, Bitcoin got back up above it, had a nice little rally, a several percent rally. I believe this was about a 6% rally. Oh, yes, about 6.85% Bitcoin rallied after it broke above this downtrend. And of course, the rally failed after there, but we're breaking this much, much, much earlier in the rally and much, much, much closer to our bottom than we did back over there in late June and early July. Actually, that was just in July. So that's one thing that we also want to keep in mind, is that just because we're breaking this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to come right back down, although it is going to be interesting seeing what Bitcoin does over the next couple of days and weeks. I think the Bitcoin rally has just started, and like I've said in previous videos, I believe we needed to get above this level to actually confirm the rally starting, and now that we have, that is definitely the confirmation that I was looking for, like I just said, to say that we were officially on a rally, and I am officially bullish. I do think Bitcoin is going to continue going up, and I think the rally has started. With that said, let's go ahead and back that up a little bit with some more indicators and some more technical analysis. There's several other things I want to point to. One of them I'm going to point to, but I pointed to so much that I'm not going to talk about it too much. That would be the daily MACD. We see the daily MACD down here. We do see a bullish cross on the daily MACD. If we come back here to about the 20th of August, about a little over a week ago, Bitcoin did cross bullish, and we're not even up to the zero level on the MACD yet. So typically, you would see, normally when the MACD crosses bullish, you would see a little bit more follow through. Like I've said in previous videos, typically we would probably see something like that happen on the MACD, rather than this just start to curve down and for the signal line to cross back up above the MACD line. Typically, we're going to see a little bit more follow through on the MACD. It could be a fake out. I don't think it is. I think based on the MACD and also based on the break of this downtrend that we are going to continue going up. There is one thing I want to point out on the MACD that actually I'm going to make tomorrow's video dedicated to, and that would be the weekly MACD, because this is something that I haven't seen anyone talking about, and it is extremely important. If we pull the MACD up here, what we're going to see, can you see that? Let's see. Let's make the MACD massive so you can see it. Right there. What does that look like? That looks like a bullish cross on the MACD to me, guys. Look at that. And within the next week or so, we just need another weekly candle or so to confirm it. That looks like the MACD line is about to cross the signal line. The blue line on the bottom is the MACD line. The signal line is the red, brown. I don't know what color that is. I'm colorblind. The signal line is the one on the top, and the MACD line is the one on the bottom. And that looks like that orientation is about to change, which would be a bullish cross for Bitcoin on the weekly chart, and we have not seen that happen in a very, very long time. Let's go back in history. I'm actually going to close RSI for a second. Let's go back in history and see the last time Bitcoin crossed bullish on the weekly MACD. Yeah, we kind of have to go a long way. The last time was back over here in October of 2016, guys. This hasn't happened in about a year and a half, almost 2 years. It's been since we've seen a bullish MACD cross on the, a bullish MACD cross on the weekly Bitcoin chart right over here. And what happened after we crossed that? Well, the bull run had already started. Of course, we've talked about in previous videos why the bull run started back over here in October. You can watch that video up here on the top right. That's a very good video. I recommend watching that because it's important to understand how a bull run starts so that we can determine when one is starting again. We determined that the bull run started back over here in October, so it wasn't like this was the start of the bull run, but this was a very good thing to help the continuation of the bull run. When we saw this MACD cross on the weekly chart, Bitcoin continued to run, because this happened back over here when Bitcoin was trading around $600. Bitcoin would go to $20,000. So the last time we saw a bullish MACD cross on the Bitcoin weekly chart, Bitcoin had a nice bull run to follow it. Now, that's not necessarily to say that all of that happened because of the weekly MACD cross, but it does mean to say, but I do mean to say that it would be a very, very good thing indeed to see a bullish MACD cross on the weekly chart. And that's what we're seeing right here, guys. That and many other things I'm going to be talking about in more depth in tomorrow's video do lead me to believe that there's a very good possibility that this rally that we've just formed could lead into a new Bitcoin bull run. I think the possibility is there. Will it happen? We'll have to see. We're going to be talking about that more in tomorrow's video. But nevertheless, that weekly MACD cross is something that is definitely lending credence to this rally that I believe is forming. The next thing that we want to talk about are moving averages. Of course, we've talked about in previous videos how Bitcoin has gotten above the 20 daily EMA right here. That's a very important moving average for Bitcoin to get above, and that does signify that we are in a proper rally, because one of the things that you want to see when Bitcoin moves into a rally is that it gets above the 20 daily EMA, just based on historical price action. You can see back up here when we were in a rally, we were in above it. When we were below it, we were in a downtrend. When we were above it, we were a rally. Downtrend, below it, etc. is very important for Bitcoin to get above that level, and Bitcoin did get above that level just a couple of days ago. I hit my keyboard with my hand. It's not what I meant to do, but either way, we did get above that 20 daily EMA, and that's a very important thing indeed. There's also one more thing on the moving averages that we want to look at. Well, there's many things we could look at on the moving averages, but this is one thing that I want to drag your attention to also, and that would be this cross right here. We can see these two moving averages have crossed. This moving average on the bottom, this red one, is the 50 daily SMA. This moving average on the top is the 100 daily SMA, and they've just crossed. The short-term moving average has crossed the long-term moving average, and when you see that happen, that is called a golden cross. And many times people will take that as a bullish indicator, as the return of a new bull cycle or a rally or what have you. But typically it's a very bullish indicator, and typically it's something that people use to get an idea of where the market is going. A bullish cross is this example. If you were to see this cross where the 100-day cross is above the short-term moving average, then that would be a death cross, so that'd be a death cross. That's a bull cross. That's a golden cross, excuse me. And that's a very good thing for Bitcoin, because similar to the weekly MACD, that's something that we haven't seen in a very long time. When we saw the death cross back over here, right over here, was at the beginning of the bear market back over here in February. But you have to go a long way back in history to find that golden cross, the last one. And in fact, you have to come back to right around the same time that MACD cross happened on the weekly, back over here in October of 2016. Isn't that interesting how some indicators that are really powerful all kind of line up and do the same thing at similar times? We saw the same thing happen over here. We saw about 5 different indicators all line up. We saw the stars align to say that this was the beginning of the bull run. And right over here in October of 2016 was the last time that we saw a golden cross with the 100-day and the 50 daily simple moving average on Bitcoin. And what happened following that? Well, we just talked about it, because we saw the same thing happen after the bullish MACD cross. That happened. Do you see my point when I'm talking about some of these indicators that you don't see happen very often, but when they do happen, very good things come of them. Now, of course, there is one thing that we have to point out. There was a little fake out right here where we saw a golden cross, and then about a week later we saw a death cross. This kind of didn't even really matter because it canceled itself out so quickly. But the last real major golden cross that we saw happened over a year and a half ago, guys. And followed it was a very, very large-scale bull run. And I think a similar thing is coming. Like I said, we're going to delve into that more in tomorrow's video about why I think there's definitely the potential of a bull run coming. But in the short term, this is also still a very, very good sign for Bitcoin. And another good sign for Bitcoin is that these are two important levels of resistance on their own, and Bitcoin has gotten above both of them. So that's another thing that we want to take into consideration. Guys, based on everything I've told you in today's video, and based on one thing that we're going to end the video with, I do think a new rally is coming. Where we're going to go, I'm not totally sure yet. I think the potential for Bitcoin to go back up to $8,400, $8,500 and start breaching these recent highs is very, very high. We're going to have to see. That's going to have a lot to do with market sentiment. That's going to have a lot to do with the fundamentals, news coming out. We do, of course, have the Bitcoin news, the Bitcoin ETF news coming up, the actual main one that everybody's looking at, the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin ETF. That deadline is right over here with this horizontal line on my chart. So that is coming up, and the news of that could either make or break this new rally that we're seeing form. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think that that's going to be the end of the rally if it gets delayed. If it gets denied, that's probably going to be very bad. We'll see when the time comes. Where is Bitcoin going? We're going to have to do a little more TA and have a little bit more perspective and have a little bit more market structure to actually get an idea of where Bitcoin's top will be for this rally. But I do think that we're going up in the northerly direction anyway. Now, what's that coup de grace thing I want to talk about? Well, it has to be the shorts chart, guys, because if we look at this shorts chart, it has finally started to definitively turn around. We've talked about for the last 2 or 3 weeks about how the shorts are just skyrocketing, and we've wanted these shorts to come down. That's not something I ever thought I'd say on camera, but it's true. We wanted these shorts to come down, and now we're seeing the shorts come down. The shorts are coming down in a phenomenal way, and it's very, very good for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin really, really likes it. As we could see last night right here, we saw 2 nice big red candlesticks here on the shorts chart. And we saw the shorts drop by about 3,000 shorts, actually about 2,000 shorts, excuse me. We saw about 2,000 shorts drop off last night. We went from about 3,600 shorts to about 3,400 shorts. We saw 2,000 shorts fall. And when that happened, it also correlated with some big price movement on Bitcoin. That's the long chart. We saw some big price movement on Bitcoin because that correlated with some of this movement right over here. So that was a tiny little short squeeze. That wasn't an early April style short squeeze where we lost literally about like 15,000 shorts all at once. It wasn't that style of short squeeze, but we did see some of the shorts fall off, which helped add buying pressure, which helped to push Bitcoin higher and helped Bitcoin get above another level of resistance, which is $7,000 flat. Tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think of my analysis? Do you agree with me that the rally has formed? Do you agree with me that the potential for a new bull market is here? And what do you think about the shorts chart? Are the shorts going to keep falling off? And is that something that Bitcoin wants to see? I think Bitcoin's the kind of guy that wants to see that happen. I think he is. Anyway, I think these shorts are going to keep coming down. I think they're going to keep falling because I think a lot of people are realizing that Bitcoin getting above this downtrend and above these moving averages is kind of the last nail in the coffin for the shorters. And I do think that that was the last thing that we needed to see to confirm the bull market. And I think a lot of stop losses were also up here. And I think we triggered a lot of stop losses. And I think we probably liquidated some folks also. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video.